The original intention of the film was just for my personal use, but I thought, with it being such a unique thing, that I'd like to offer it to anybody who wants to see it. On the first visit, Jack took us into his another room, a separate room, and there were these brown parcels full of artwork piled up. And he said to me, "You draw like I do." We were in the studio for 5 hours, you know, it was fantastic. And there's this, he's got this desk, and everything he's ever drawn has come from this desk. And then I would just go with the flow, and that's what this film is about. It's just a unique film of him.
He says, "I beat you." He says, "They say we came in under the dead heat." He says, "That's not true because I beat you." And the American said, "Well," he says, "if you like to think so," he says, "but I know the real story." He says, I know I clearly won that one." See? Well, Joe is 6'3", and I was a run, say, from the Lower East Side. And being Joe's partner was an advantage to me because Joe was believable, you know, they would talk to Joe. The Goodman brothers would get to know him. Martin Goodman owned Marvel at that time. He went to his mother and he says, "Look, Jackie got a job drawing." He says, "They're paying him for it. They're paying him money for drawing." He says, "Suppose I go with Jackie." He says, "And he said, they'll pay me money." He says, "I'll draw and they'll pay me money." He said, "I'll give the money to you," which we did. We gave it all to our mothers. They called me from Nassau. You know, I lived in Long Island. And they say, "Would you like to come down and draw these guys in training?" I swear, this is not a story. And I said, "Yes, of course, I'd love to come down."
Welcome to Hybrid, the Sons of God. In this highly acclaimed series, descendants of the ancient gods face off against a celestial threat. Our heroes begin to converge at the Stardust Hotel, where a deadly ambush awaits. Who will be the first to fall on the killing field? A fast-paced adventure where a Chris Claremont-era X-Men meets ancient aliens. Elements of drama, horror, and humor tell a well-crafted story. Complex character dynamics come into play as average people face unspeakable evil while learning to live with their newfound powers. Referred to as the X-Men I wanted to read, it is worth diving into the Hybrid universe now. With plenty of ways to get started at any budget. You can get your copy of Hybrids today, only on Indiegogo.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Morning.
Tired.
I bet it's pretty early over there for Christie on the West Coast, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm probably like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, adrenaline keeps me up. I actually woke up at about 5 this morning. I'm like, oh, better eat, get ready, and get on the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's early.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm that dedicated to the campaign trail to do that. I don't know that I've stayed up late. I think I started a stream the other night about midnight, but I've not gotten up early to do one yet. So I don't know if I would. Rich, have you ever gotten up that early to do one?
No, this is the earliest stream I've ever been on. Typically, I wake up around 6-ish or so, but I took the day off from like work, and so I thought I accidentally almost slept in a little later than I would have because I had the alarm set, shut it off, went back to sleep,
Nice, yeah.
and then woke up at like a little past 8, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
I love that snooze button, man. I'll tell you.
So what's your general hours of operation in your body time, Rich?
Like if I don't, sometimes I'll wake up at 6 if I want to get work, done early, and but typically it's around like 8, 9-ish or so,
Yeah.
And
that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
So I don't like it. I gotta get work done. So
oh no, I get it. And I think a lot of us artist types are like, yeah, I'll do this when it's comfortable at 2:00 in the morning and everybody leaves me bleep alone, and I can blare lo-fi music.
Gets me out, yeah.
My son's autistic, so for a very long time I was on autistic hours where you get up at like 1 and in the afternoon because you're going to be up till 5 in the morning, and just cycle through. But we've got here, so now I get up at 8, run around, brush my teeth, Kim sliding in for our, what? See, Luke, I checked the time. I was not being facetious. We had a conversation right before the show started. We have an over 10-minute intro.
Sometimes. I did show quite a few extra videos today.
Think that's a bad thing because I think everybody in the morning who comes rolling into this show needs that extra 10 minutes to go, okay, I've listened to the bacon. I've eaten because Luke is, basically just a
just hunger pains
for cholesterol. And you hear that bacon ASMR every morning, and it's like, I know after this I have to put bacon bits in my eggs because I do that right after the show every time, every Thursday now. But
and then we get that fun little jam in the morning.
Oh yeah,
we get to dance along with our
little morning rock out
with our favorite sitcom folks. Yeah, so it's a good way to start off a Thursday morning.
I can have tea with Carlton. I know what I'm about.
So the reason why, the reason why we've done a Thursday morning show, well, because there's not a lot of morning shows to start with, but Thursday's kind of like that day that you've gotten through hump day. Friday is tomorrow. The end of the week is coming. So this is kind of like that little treat that you can listen to on the drive to work or while you're at work, kind of thing. And so we talk about a lot kind of nerdy and goofy stuff, and sometimes it gets serious. Usually it doesn't. Normally it stays pretty lighthearted. But
Well,
last week we had Pedro on, and we started having a pretty serious conversation. It lasts about an hour ish to 2 hour ishes. Just depends. It really
it
depends.
depends on how the groove is going, because
Yeah, it
this
really
is one of
does.
those shows. Now, a lot of folks, I watch a lot of, we'll say, independent streamed stuff, because I don't fly any flags, but I have a lot of friends who do. We'll put it that way. And there's a lot of people. It's I know you guys who've done the stream thing where it's okay. We're gonna go on the show. Hi, they have a StreamYard. God, wake up! They have a crowdfunding campaign, and we're gonna go tier by tier and all that, and we're gonna show you. And you guys have been all over. Everybody's seen that. When you come here, it's a little different because we want to know about the people behind the creation. Because usually by the time you've hit us in our the campaign arc, you've hit a lot of the money making, grind. You should have a chance to express yourselves as artists, and sometimes we even have, like I said, we have that serious conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, are you guys sick of doing your elevator pitch yet? Are you sick of
No.
that?
No.
No,
I think for me,
I get sick of it pretty quick. That's just
Well,
me though.
well, for me, it's like because I work at cons and stuff. Like I do conventions, I table. I don't know if you do, Rich, but what I do is I try to come out with an elevator pitch that will make me laugh like a jerk every time I say it.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if I get tired saying it at that moment, it's not that I'm tired of it. It doesn't sound like the same old thing because like people hear the enthusiasm in your voice, and if you don't have it, they can tell.
Yeah, well, both of you guys actually have books that lean more towards the comedy. Like there's a kind of a funny element.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy there. There's a lot of.
I don't really have that in my book. It's more. There's a little bit of humor, but it's mostly action and adventure. So it's like the elevator pitch wears on me pretty quick, and I'm like, I want to talk about everything else. I want to talk about the characters. And all
I
that
can't
kind
say
of
that
stuff.
the elevator pitches is like really bothered me or weighed me down because I haven't I can understand if I had like one line and I was constantly saying that every single stream, then I would start to be like, all right, this is I feel like I'm beating myself in the head with something. But I've managed to switch it up a little bit.
Good.
Not deliver too much elevator pitches because I feel like everybody's just looking at the book or the video or stuff like that just on art. So
there's a lot of like those shows where it's like that's what it is. It's like that elevator pitch thing. But we try to do it a little different here. So that's the first off. Nick, how was your week?
Actually, this has been a very, very, very exciting week for me because I've been booked to do a pirate sword demo this summer. Cool. I teach sword fighting. I'm going to be doing some library presentations on art and sword fighting and gaming.
Do a lot of pirates wear Hawaiian shirts?
They would if they had them, and modern pirates do.
All right.
Piracy is still quite an active and profitable.
It's just software now, right? Software and music and movies.
I have found some boats in my time and redubbed them the Hindentanic 1, 2, 3, etc. As I've acquired them and then sold them up. So if you ever see something with Hindentanic written on the side, that means I at some point found it. But what I love is with this show and the opportunity that podcasting does is it lets us get behind the doors. And I have to talk about something even before we go any farther because it's been eating at me since Rich popped on. Is that a complete typology of UFOs behind you? Because that looks like a complete typology of UFOs, and I'm going to completely geek out right now.
I don't know if it's a complete, but it is certain sightings from the early 50s to the late 60s. So a lot of these things
pretty awesome.
Different countries and whatnot, different places.
That is absolutely delightful. I'm sorry, I am notorious for being a nerd's nerd, and you came on and I'm like, I need to talk. I need to. Then I'm like, no, I don't. This is nerd bacon.
I'm a bit of a. I haven't done any research on that in a while because I'm just been so busy with the hustle comic book thing. But it is definitely it holds a firm interest, grasp on my interest. This whole thing, theology and weird stuff aliens and UFOs and the possibility of them all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely did that.
Hmm.
As I was a little kid, and I actually had a UFO sighting as a little kid.
Yep.
And it took me years. I finally got it debunked because I've done some paranormal research and stuff. And what turned out was there was we lived between 3 prisons, and there was a prison escapee.
Mhm.
And it was a kind of foggy day, and what I saw was the helicopter. Because I thought I saw somebody get abducted as a little kid.
I saw a legit spaceship.
You know,
Oh,
Like,
cool.
okay, I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Like in Kokomo, you can look it up. In
Yeah.
Kokomo, Indiana, back in like the early 2000s, there was a several people had a UFO sighting,
Yeah.
and I saw the thing fly right above me. Fly right above me is this triangular shaped looking thing,
Oh,
and
that.
it was like
Yeah.
near silent. It was near silent, yeah, and yeah, it was big. I was like,
Yeah, well, they already came out and said that that the triangular ship, that's like some of our shit. That
Yeah.
ships. Sorry, my bad.
yeah,
That's possibly other
That was
countries
speech
too.
impediment. That was
Yeah, yeah. I meant to say shit, PT.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it
yeah,
was just. There's this one. It's not actually a UFO sighting, but it was a funny story. So there was this like surfer guy, like it was in the Valley. This is in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm not from LA, but my friend is, and he was telling me that there was a surfer dude that would just go in there, but he was kind of like fried, let's say. I mean, the guy
I'm
would like.
originally from the West Coast. I completely.
he was a little extra crispy.
Yeah, yeah, he would put his hands in where the emperor scorpions get him to sting him, and like say it builds up immunity, and he would just like I don't know what it was. He was just kind of off. That's what he was telling me about. So one of the things that he did, he went on this whole thing about a UFO like sighting, right? And his last parting words were, "But I swear to God, it was not drugs. We were only on crystal meth." And we're
I
like,
think if you have to qualify your story like with that, it was probably the drugs.
yeah.
it was, yeah, it's a, no, I think meth makes you hallucinate or something. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
If he was
Well,
said,
good
I wasn't on
weekend,
drugs, I was just a little bit of weed or something, then I would be like, all right,
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
mean, but he's like, oh,
I'll
if
buy
I was
that
on
one.
shrooms or acid, you're just like,
straight to the hardest stuff.
I hadn't slept in like 4 days, but I promise it was like, yeah,
No,
it really happened.
getting back because I have no straight lines in my thought. I'm incapable of it. No, this
Wow,
week actually
I
has
have no straight
been
lines.
really, really good for me for just starting. I might be DMing on another show soon. I
Nice.
might, so I had some stuff I had to recover, so this is a big deal for me. And like, opportunities to help people, opportunities to help kids, that's awesome for me.
mhm.
So, that's kind of my jam. So I'm digging that. And then I get to be on shows with my business partner, Luke.
Yeah,
Who's,
have a good time.
Bye, hybrids.
Really good.
Oh, sorry. This thing.
It's shameless self-promotion. Sometimes I mix that up and I say selfless shame promotion, which means something completely different. By the way.
See, that's your Sunday morning gig there, Pastor
That's
Luke.
selfless shame promotion. Ah, good one. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Hamalana.
So
I know what we're about. We're all good.
Christy, how was your week? How's your week going?
Well, I mean, a lot of it was shop. I what I do is I run a Kickstarter because I know some of you guys do Indiegogo, and I know we were talking about not doing crowdfunding until the end, but it's kind of was my life for the past
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
almost
that makes
45
sense.
days. So it's like Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And it was funny because yesterday I had a few setbacks and I just got really pissed because it was just frustrating. It was like stupid little things that bite you. Like, okay, so Rich, I actually do a thing called Demon Bee. I can't say the whole word right here, but it's about girls I hate. So I just like comics that were just crude and mean and evil. I mean, this is just like actual legitimate, really horrible people, not like, oh, you just pissed me off.
Right.
So, but I noticed like, it's like with crowdfunding, you have that big vent because everything that's been annoying you, like all of a sudden you're just really annoyed and you have to get out. And what I mean is like, not saying that I stuff it all down, but one of the things is that, okay, the joke is Demon beats a demon, right? So you get to beat her up and do awful things to her because she's terrible, right? So I said that on Facebook. I said I would hit her with a lead pipe, right? And then Facebook went, "Oh no, you're physically threatening someone." I'm like,
Oh,
"It's my
I'm physically
character
threatening a fictitious demon that I
with a
created
fictitious action because
with a fictitious action. Yeah.
yeah."
So
So
yeah,
essentially,
the
yeah.
social
So they
media stuff
essentially
is ridiculous.
Facebook restricted me for 3 days.
Oh,
in the
great.
middle of
Or
your
two
campaign.
prior, and then
Yeah,
on
towards
top
the
of
end of
it,
the
you add.
campaign.
You know how, like, I mean, I don't know if you have Facebook or anything, but you know how they do those little crappy things, like they said, "Well, we're going to do this and this and this." And it's like, wait, I can't even talk and tell you what exactly went on. Like,
You
so what it was
posted
is
something
that
we
they
don't
were
like, so we took it down, and we won't tell you what you posted.
no, they did also another thing. They said, we're going to minimize your visibility, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, thanks.
You know why they're doing that, right? Because the oligarchs in charge want your money. They want you to pay for advertisement
Yeah.
Oh,
rather
but
than just promote for free.
well, it's just like a little snotty thing, like they added
No,
on
yeah.
top of the restriction. I know they do that, but
Yeah.
they did it on top of that. I'm like, oh,
Stupid
okay, screw
oligarchs.
you. And so that was annoying me. But you know, it's like, what can you do? You just got to work with it, right?
Yeah.
So I was just getting really annoyed with it and everything, and you know, the typical thing of like pledges and all this other stuff. And
People
finally, I
drop.
just
Yeah.
had it. Yeah, I was ready to
Yeah.
punch a wall personally.
I'm
like,
20, 19% funded. Dang it! I'm 20% funded.
yeah, it was like kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, let's move this and move it back, move this, move it back. I'm like, and I just like was like, I was just ready to punch a wall. I said some very choice words that I can't say here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
finally, when I just like got pissed, and I wasn't screaming obscenities, I was just mad, and then all of a sudden, I'm now at 87% at 6.1K. So
Yeah. So that worked out then in your favor.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to speak in tongues.
I don't know. I guess my magical power is rage. I mean, my
feeling-
ethnicity is Korean, so
Yeah.
they're
There you
angry
go.
people.
I have a feeling Kenneth Copeland's going to get a lot of work today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really like shortbread.
Yeah.
Usually it's pointed at my speech impediments, so it's nice to see it pointed somewhere else. But
So, Rich, tell us about your week, man.
yeah,
You are
been,
what the viewers may not know. You are a tattoo artist.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's all right. I think the tattooing world, I think people look at those shows and they amp it up way more than what it really is. Because if you talk to a lot of tattooers, we'd all have the same collective story of extreme aggravation with the customer.
It's
clientele type
It's
of,
all the client, not really with each other,
relationship.
right?
Yeah, it gets pretty tough, and you know, it's more hype than it is. Like I love a lot of my customers; they're awesome, and they've kept me fed over the years. But like this week's been pretty slow, and it's kind of hard for me to since my schedule is super flexible over there. I don't have customers or anything. Then I'm home working on the book, the campaign, and all that stuff. But
Well,
it kind
that's
of teeters sometimes when it's dead busy, and it's like super dead. And I'm like busy on the campaign, and then I'm not making any money in one aspect, and then worrying about other stuff and like taking on extra commissions. So it's good pressure, but it's pressure nonetheless.
So I've watched Ink Master, so I'm a bit of an expert on tattoos. Although I've never had one, or actually been in a tattoo parlor, or any of that. But still, I'm a bit of an expert.
Sure.
So you're trying to tell me that you guys just don't just fight with each other?
No, it's not. It's actually in my work environment. It's actually pretty chill. Like I've worked with those dudes forever, so we get along. And a lot of times, I just enjoy going there to hang with them more than anything.
I actually joke. I have been in a tattoo parlor, and I do know several tattoo artists.
Once, you know.
Yeah, I do know several tattoo artists, and they're all very laid back.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's really all about
stories.
And it's all about really trying to, you know, there's competition, but it's usually friendly competition.
Yeah,
kind of like what we should have in comic books, but I think comics we get a little bit. It's kind of catty.
Yeah.
Indie comics can get kind of catty, can it?
Actually, I find there's more competition, in comics than there is like tattooing world. I'm not saying that it's because I'm the best. Nowhere near. Like there's homies at the shop that blow me away with tattooing and stuff like that. But it's like tattooing. It's a job at the end of the day. So if you have a job, you don't go to Walmart and like if you work in there and be like, I'm gonna be the best shelf stalker and I'm gonna compete with this jerk right here. Like you just go in, you clock in, you do the best job you can, and then
you do your job and you get out of there. Yeah,
right. So that's what tattooing is. It's not with the comic book thing. I can express myself beyond 100% freely.
Yeah, we're gonna get into how both of you express yourself. Both of these campaigns, both these books are really cool. They do. You know, we're not, like Nick said, we're not going to get into all the nuts and bolts of your of your campaign, because I mean these are adults that are watching, right? You guys can you can follow the links and see all that stuff. We don't need to.
Yeah.
This is what the first tier is. I'm like that works sometimes. Sometimes it's necessary, but that we're not going to do that because it's Thursday and it's early, and we're just going to have fun today.
Plus, if every stream, and it's starting to look like that, if almost every stream is the exact same format of Vanna Whiting through,
right?
Like, I'm sorry, it starts to, at least for me, it starts to feel like I'm watching QVC. These are for creators I've known.
Just with different hosts, with different hosts. And so we like to do things a little different here. So let's go ahead and go to the chat. Let's welcome everybody in there, see what they're doing today, find out how their week's going. So we've got Agent Zero is technically first here today. Hail to the bacon of nerds. Happy Thursday. One of the first of Bacon Nation to arrive today. Nice to have you today. And we also got Nita in the comments today in the chat.
Hi, Nita.
Good morning, Nita. We're gonna keep this slot safe for work, just like we promised. Okay, so no need to call HR.
The one slip up, it was a tiny one so far.
That's okay.
They're probably using their headphones and their own cellular data anyway on the phone, not company data.
Let's hope, but who knows? The Ninja Genko is here. Good morning, the Ninja. Great to have you here this morning. We've got Allison McGlone here. Good morning, Allison. Good to have you. We've got your boy Hojo. Hail chat, Baconeers assemble. Let's get raw. We are going to get raw today. We've got some great stuff to show off today. We've got Keely Chow. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning to you. Great to have you in the chat today. Your boy Hojo says, Hail Baconeers. We have the mojo, and now it's time to get raw. Hojo really wants to get raw. Really wants to get raw. Agent Zero.
You do know what in your personal life, Hojo? Is everything cool? Because, I'm not in a fixation there,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, we're gonna let y'all cook your own bacon today. How about that? We'll serve up the meat, and you.
You know what we should have done? Bacon. We should have taken a clip of just raw bacon hitting the table instead of the morning.
Instead of the sizzle? Yeah, I don't know. Just something about the sizzle. I love it.
Oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong.
We got Glenn blah, 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 blah. Yeah, where is that at? Where is that at?
Hamalana.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we've got Glenn Fleming in the chats this morning. He's going to be with us next week. His books are showing up. The books are showing up for. He's got a shipment arriving, so we will be getting our Jack Kirby book soon. So we showed his trailer this morning, that bumper about the words and pictures about. Man, I'll tell you what, isn't that cool to hear Jack's voice? There's something about that voice.
Yeah,
it's not. This ain't a story either. It's like, it's like that. He's just like that. You could tell that man he's lived some life. It's pretty cool.
It's the New York that is old Marvel.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We've got Aaron Jordan. Hail everyone. Hail to Aaron. Thank you for being here today. We got some hails back and forth. Some hellos. So we got Sim Inkslayer. Sim, good to have you here today. And we're gonna make sure that your links and stuff get thrown up in these comments because Sim's another great creator. Got a lot of talent. Allison is there. Says there is nothing good about mornings. There's one thing good about morning.
Bacon.
Nerd bacon. Bacon and nerd bacon. That's it. We've got Past Master Dan Roach Bowls. I'll tell you what. So here's the deal. Yeah, and we'll talk about this a little bit. Part of your marketing campaign was just to pop in the just the streams in the comments and just yell Roach Balls like that, just to type it in there. And people just thought it was like this weird thing that Rich Ayala did until Rich Ayala launches his page, Rich Ayala's Roach Balls, and they're like, "Oh, that's a book." Yeah. And so there's a few things you did. We'll talk about those later because I think they're just genius and how you're able to manage your first campaign.
Once you get one roach, you got a bunch of them. So that's
right. Yeah, but $13K for your first project. Impressive. That's an impressive feat, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome. But yeah, okay. So Hojo Roach Balls has hair on his head. Only saw hats before. Must be early. Yeah, and that's some. I like that hair. That's nice hair.
Yeah, little Samson, you know, it's a little biblical stuff.
I'm not
right
wearing
there.
the pork pie today.
Yeah, no. Oh man, too bad Mo's not in here.
All right, no, Mo hates the pork pie. He hates this thing, and so
yeah, put the pork pie on for Mo. Just show love.
There you go. Just because he don't do morning shows, so yeah, he hates the pork pie. Of course, the other night I was on a stream and they said just wear it on the back of your head like that, and they're like, okay, karma, chameleon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's the Boy George hat.
Field right there.
Yeah,
I dig it.
yeah. When you're trying to go for Heisenberg and you end up with Boy George, that's it's really unfortunate. You know what I mean? But
I am the one who knocks.
Yeah, but maybe I'm not. Who knows? We got Miss Rena in the chat today. Hail, Miss Rena. She's got a great book getting ready to come out. She's getting ready to launch that. I think she's going to be launching that over on Michael Bancroft's channel soon. And so looking forward to getting a hold of that. The art looks tremendous in that. And I'm very excited about what she's doing there. We got Ollie from 656 Comics. Good morning. Hail, Ollie. Ollie is pretty awesome. If you haven't checked out 656 Comics, you should definitely do that. And it would not be the Bacon Nation without Frog G. Hail all, hail Frog G. And so, yeah.
I say it every time. Frog G's a superhero. Folks, if you have any doubt of the links for these lovely people, Frog G has them all over the comments.
He's know
that master of disaster. Man,
he's already hopped. I'm looking here. He's already hopped all over the comments.
Oh yeah, just like 3 inches of scroll bar is just Frog G awesomeness. You know what I'm saying?
That's what she said. Wait a second.
That's what she said.
There you go. We knew it was there. Got to reach that pinky, Luke. Do your exercise, man.
That's
That should be your physical. That's what she said.
All right, Miss Reen says, I want some bacon now. Of course you want some bacon. Bacon is delicious. I'll tell you what, I would have been a terrible, Muslims, Jews, a couple other people, they don't eat bacon. If I grew up in that, I would have been terrible. Like I would have been like, as soon as I smelled that, what I call bacon juice, which is my wife calls bacon grease, but I call bacon juice. I had been like, I need bacon in my life. And Allison is, I am with Miss Rena. I want bacon. Everybody wants bacon. Bacon.
Yeah.
We got some Hail Ollies. Glenn Fleming is saying, looking good, Luke. Your voice is getting more powerful and you look great. Thank you. I'm putting
yours coming good. Your color's better.
Yeah.
Every week we do an update.
Hair's coming back in.
Look at,
hair's coming back in.
I didn't know your hair fell out.
Yeah, I lost a lot of hair and it got real light, and it thinned out a bunch, and so it is coming back.
Yes.
So
Luke,
it's not a thin anymore. Look at that.
I don't get this because Luke spends about a year, almost a year in a coma.
I spent about a month and a half in a coma.
In a coma.
And I was in the hospital for a total of 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels. I'm sorry. I felt like it. Oh God.
It feels like an eternity.
He dude dies, comes back, looking like that, right? Me, I've been fine through this whole thing, but I got all the gray hair worrying about him. You know.
Yeah. We've got.
Age. We're only a couple months apart, and I look like
He came back looking younger.
I come back, I'm telling people you can come back from tragedy better. So that's the whole point right here, right? So Geek Hero Bubba is here. Definitely reasonable. Reasonable.
Yeah,
I
can relate to that. I had a pancreatic tumor myself, so that was fun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well that sucks. Pancreatic stuff is like, my brother died from pancreatic cancer. And a few years ago. So yeah, it's rough stuff, man. Rough stuff.
Yeah.
And we're glad you're here. We're certainly glad you're here.
Yeah, I gave Death the finger a couple of times, but it was weird because it was the odds were kind of weird because they were against me. You can relate. Because most of the time when they find it, it's in the high 90s that it's well on its way. but for some reason I was in the 3 to 5% where it wasn't yet. It was one of the precancerous ones. It was strange. It was like 100% going to be cancer, but it wasn't cancer yet. So they took it out. And
Wow,
then they
nice catch.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very strange. And then it was like then they rewired my whole digestive system, and then they basically stuck what was left of it on the end. And then what ended up happening is that they told me I would have diabetes, but I don't. So the finger twice.
Nice.
Wow, there you go. But do you ever feel like, almost said syphilis?
Hamalana.
Sisyphus. That's what I meant to say.
Sisyphus, yeah.
Sisyphus.
Oh,
You ever
God.
feel like it's that, there's still like words, like I'm sharp as a tack, but sometimes like the words get foggy, post COVID. I guess it's something that a lot of post COVID people have, so I'm like, we just call it COVID brain because it's funny because I'm like, what is the word for that again? But Sisyphus. You ever feel like Sisyphus cheating death and then your whole life spent rolling a boulder up a hill just so it rolls back down? Yeah.
I don't right now. Yesterday I was because of the whole thing, and then I got pissed, and then somehow that was okay.
You rolled it back up. You rolled the boulder back up.
Yeah.
Nita
says Nick Tockert is the ultimate nerd package.
I found out she said that about me on a stream I didn't even know was going on. So, at least I'm on brand, folks. You
Nick,
got to accept.
People talk about you in the positive without your knowledge. Just get used to it. You're a likable guy, man.
That's trippy to me. Usually, when
everybody's
people are talking about me, it's
a lot of people's favorites.
Okay, if you wait for him on the corner here, we can. Anyway, thank you. I am genuinely flattered.
Yeah. Glenn says, for those who order my Kirby book, they'll be on their way to you Monday. My thanks to you all. I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know who else is. I'm gonna crack it open as soon as it gets here.
Yeah.
Nita says, matey, flips wrist and prances out to get canceled. Speaking of canceled. A lot of people canceled themselves this week on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing about people throwing a tantrum and taking their ball and going home. It's great entertainment for guys like me. I think it's hilarious. These people live on like the social media outrage that they thrive on, and so they'll be back. But in the meantime, Twitter's got nicer.
Some of them left. They said, "I'm leaving" and everything, and like half an hour later, they came back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, just virtue signaling. It's just so that they can screenshot the fact that they canceled it or whatever. I've seen tons of TikTok videos. I'm leaving Twitter. Like, who does that hurt but you?
Well, what you see is
a lot of cloud chasers do that. It's really great. It's like they're going, "I'm leaving," and say, "Oh, all the attention whores left Twitter."
Yeah.
Social media is no replacement for or no substitute for therapy. So this is what
right, yep.
And they leave and then they're fiends and then they come back and they're like, I need my fix. You see it
exactly.
all the time. So
yeah,
what happens when you have nothing going on, you have no hobbies, nothing to build on. It's just you clock in your 9 to 5, and then you just go home and you're just on social medias all day.
Oh.
So
it's kind of like
they called you a loser for that. So.
Well, it's kind of like that group. Like if you leave a group, it's I'm leaving the group. It's like, no, this is not the airport. Don't announce your departure.
Yeah.
See,
I love it because I'm politically kind of centralist. So at some point I offend everybody. Politely as possible, but I usually offend them with something. But with what's going on, I know, okay, the liberal set of friends are on Facebook. The conservative set of friends are on Twitter. I at least now know what game I'm, what I'm dealing with, and it simplifies. It's sort of like having, a MSN feed on one side and a Fox feed on the other, and figuring out what the news is by piecing the two stories together. So yeah, do it. Be what feels comfortable, but be sincere about it, so I can tell. That's all I ask.
Twitter's a big part of my art business. I get a lot of work off of Twitter. I do a lot of my promotion on Twitter. So I mean, if I were to throw a fit and just quit that platform, you know, a lot of these people, like, they've not been on anything else that I know of. Maybe they're on Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, my wife and daughter use Instagram way more than I do, and I'm on TikTok. A lot of people are on TikTok, but I don't
It's
really
a
spend a
tool,
lot of
dude.
time there.
Social
Yeah, it's all a
media,
tool.
It's a
And
tool.
I think,
If you're not using it for a tool, then you are the tool. So just remember that.
yeah, I was gonna say, and some people even are, some people are tools. That's I know plenty of
just think-
tools that are on there.
I just think it's funny because some of the people that just like, I'm doing this, I'm leaving. I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't find that important enough. but
Elon
it's funny.
evil. Here's the deal. I'm okay with the way he spent his money. What I'm I don't care what he does with his money. But here's my thing. I got a little scared of Elon for this reason alone. The man decided he wanted to buy an entire platform and then did it within a matter of days.
Hey, it's a good flex. Good for you, homie.
But I'm like, a guy with that kind of like determination, like he's either Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor. I'm just not sure yet.
Yeah. A little bit of both,
Almost
you know.
all I
Maybe a little
see
bit of
are
both.
Lex Luthors. I've yet to see any of them like Bruce Wayne out, you know. And
Right, but I mean, if anybody can, I think if anybody could do that, or be like that Tony Stark, it probably could be Elon. Probably could be Elon.
I just had to laugh because it was like they're going, we're leaving all Twitter. I'm like, what did he do?
Yeah, what did he do? He just bought
He
the
didn't
platform.
like go heavily, like really politically either way. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
And a lot of these idiots are
Terrible
driving
person.
Teslas too. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
Like,
yeah.
come on,
And
man.
SpaceX, they all like go all over SpaceX. They all fall over themselves. I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden he buys Twitter. Oh, he's bad.
it's I'm telling you, it's just
Where
virtue
does it
signaling.
come from?
Yeah,
so
it's just
is
virtue
Twitter
signaling.
gonna Musk people now? Because you get Zucked on Facebook. Do you get Musked on?
You know what? I don't think.
I'm genuinely wondering
'cause,
this. Like,
yeah, Musk
he's-
is saying he's like total anti-censorship, right?
Yeah.
But people are mad because Elon had blocked them on Twitter, and they're like, I thought he was about free speech. Yeah, he didn't suppress you on Twitter. He just blocked you so you didn't have to see your mindless dribble. It's like, it's like your diary of the mouth. He didn't want to see that.
You have the right to say whatever you want, but I have no obligation to listen or
Exactly.
You've been talking a lot about this. This feeds very, very organically into something about taste versus censorship. Because, like I was talking to Luke, there was a lot of concern about this podcast, and I'm a very open book about things because the content of both you guys' books is very, very mature.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, a lot
Adults
of
only.
yeah, a lot of it's not necessarily my jam. And this is where I think it's important to have things that aren't necessarily your jam exposed, because I shouldn't be the one saying, this isn't necessarily my jam. You shouldn't look at this. I would rather say, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it should be out there. That's the point of art and language that pushes barriers with the whole society. I mean, if you're going to there are reasons we have swear words. Swear words are important. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but they are. There's concepts that are uncomfortable. But if you don't talk about them, if you try to make clean stuff all the time, you can't find out what you like, and you can't process different ideas. And I really wish, as a comic culture, people could get beyond just because something isn't something I want or I'm about, that doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it, I mean, obviously there are some things that are grotesquely inappropriate. There is no defense for like child pornography and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, if somebody tried,
that's
that works.
People do.
There's no defense for animal abuse.
Exactly.
But there's no defense for spousal abuse.
Yes, but we both have to talk about these things in fiction so that people can process the ideas. and we have to have venues. This is why independent comics are important.
Yeah.
Because I've had people like, well, how are you going to independent comics come out? And one critique that people always put out is, well, it's just sex, swearing, and extreme violence, and that gets put out a lot when you talk
not
about
all of them.
Creators.
Not all of them.
Not all of
the
them.
good ones. I'm joking. See what I did there?
No, it's brilliant. It gets put out there, and one, there must be a market for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
it's making money.
It's their right. That's what the right of free speech means to me, and I'm very much a constitutionalist. Mm-hmm. And I know that seems like a heavy thing to drop on a show about comic books.
You mean you're not a book burner?
No. The librarian who retired for medical reasons is not a book burner. No.
Well, hey, anyway, Geek Hero says I'm a pirate this time of year. LOL, the Renaissance Festival.
Awesome.
Begins Saturday. Here.
What festival do you go to?
Yeah, pop that in the comments so we can find out. Past Master Dan says I want to believe.
Isn't that
a real UFO? It's easy to believe when you start following the trails of evidence.
Well, now you don't really have to. All of it's coming out now.
In 2020.
There's an excellent YouTube channel called Only Real UFOs, and
yes,
they've had a lot of the videos. It's amazing stuff.
So here's the deal, okay? In 2020, such a jacked up year, the government says yes, there's UFOs, unclassified documents about this stuff really happening, right?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And people are just like, oh yeah, okay.
And lockdowns.
Yeah,
well, I think everybody else is preoccupied at everything at once. That's why I talk about it and triggered, because everybody was triggered by freeing everything. So I think
everything.
It was wild.
Everything. Everybody triggered from everything.
But yeah, it's kind of funny how people are. It's like, I want to believe. It's like, release that in the 90s. Everybody would have lost it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crazy. But they went from, oh no, we're not recording any of this, we don't know what you're talking about, to, oh yeah, we've been doing that for a while now. Sorry.
My bad.
Stuff you found out.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's funny because now, like with the medical stuff, like Pfizer, like it has been court ordered to release like 50,000 pages on the research for the current COVID-19 vaccine. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, whatever. It's like, that's public disclosure. You might want to read that, guys. Just fill your head with medical stuff.
See what's in there.
Sorry, the funny thing is like a lot of people are like, well, whatever. It's because they're the one, they got the whatever going on and stuff. And people who are like, well, see, we told you, because they didn't buy that. So the people that did buy it, they're like, well, we don't want to admit
whatever.
Whatever.
It's like, it's like right now, I'm pro-vaccine because I've been vaccinated because I had COVID, darn near killed my butt, right? So I'm like, when I woke up, they're like, do you want any vaccines? I'm like, you can keep the flu vaccine, but that COVID jab, give me that crap. So I don't want to get that again, But that's my experience with it, stuff like that. There's people that they don't want the vaccine, and now with this this now public knowledge, this public record, Pfizer stuff, they're like, look, we told you that it wasn't effective or whatever, and so things like that. So whether it is or isn't effective, I'm like, you got to do that research. You got to figure that out for yourself.
Wait, how powerful is that debate? Wait. Something really cool just happened here live, and I don't know if people caught it. We were literally talking about how mind-blowing the fact UFOs, possibly extraterrestrial entities. Like, this is game-changing religious sociology, technology. Basically, it changes the whole.
It makes my comic book real.
It makes your comic book real. But as soon as we mentioned it, we all got derailed by it's like we were trained.
Stupid jab.
Take a look at that. How weird is it?
In real time.
In real time, we showed a cognito hazard.
Yeah.
If you try to think about UFOs during this period, you will be routed to COVID. This is like Fenor.
It's like the silence
stuff. Yeah.
Like you see the silence, then you forget the silence.
Right.
I think people kind of go like, oh yeah, squirrel. And we had a lot of squirrels running around from 2019 to 2020 and 2021. Everybody's running around screaming and yelling and all that. And I've had to tell people, just to let you know, World War III is not fought by tanks and bombs anymore. It's legislative and legal.
Yeah.
Like if you actually look at like court documents and law in general, like international law, that's where the real shit stuff is being fought.
And we are in another civil war right now, but it's done on social media. It's a war of thought. It's a war of freedom of speech. It's again I'm talking about the oligarchs. Nick and I were talking about this last night. That all the political figures that we bow to, that are one side of the aisle or the other, they're all friends and they're not arguing about this stuff when they clock out. They're going out and they're eating their expensive meals in their expensive cars with their expensive friends in their expensive houses and their expensive clothes. They're not fighting about this stuff, but they say those things so that we down here fight amongst each other.
Double-headed eagle shares the same body, and they're just staring at two different directions.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
and so their whole purpose is to keep us divided. They're not divided. They're fine with where they're at in life, but they keep us divided.
It's kind of like the whole pointlessness of of people leaving Twitter. It's like, I'm leaving, and I'm like, why? Like there was no anything. It was just like, I'm just leaving. I'm like, okay, have fun. It's just like, it's kind of gotten to the thing where people just get as Cartman once said, like Kyle Broflovsky's mom, she gets something up her butt and she just gets mad about it and she just like has to pursue it like a pit bull kind of thing. He didn't say those words exactly, but it just seems like people nowadays are into that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, have fun.
Nick, Glenn's got a book for you. He says you need to see my hatch story. Swamp Gas for the full range of UFO images. Got to check that out.
Glenn's one of those people I'm mildly intimidated by because he's so knowledgeable and
talented guy.
He's a great guy. That's no shot on him, but he's really kind of up there in what he's done with classic comic.
Past Master Dan is shouting out Frog G as CG's OG. I think so. I think that would be a safe bet for him. And we've got Aaron Jordan saying, "Hey ho, Joe." Kokomo has a Chrysler plant. That's where I'm from. Yeah, it was actually outside of one of those plants where that UFO was spotted. By the way, turns out that it is identified now. It is one of ours. And if that's our technology, that's creepy, man. Because that thing made no sound.
Yeah, that's what.
And it like hovered. It like stopped and
Yep,
it was crazy. Now, right up in Kokomo, the cool thing about that is right up north, there's a decommissioned military base. So, I mean, it still has military. I accidentally drove in the wrong spot, and I was met with I was met with Hamalana. I was met by a couple of soldiers with the big old machine guns, like walking up to my car, and I'm like, I just made the wrong turn. He goes, they said back up right now, and I'm like, okay, I will back up right now. I don't need you, like I don't need to taste that gun anymore. Okay, I'm all set. But yeah, so there's things used to be where I've learned from people that work there. It used to be where one of the Air Force Ones was at. They had a pool there that underneath the pool is where the plane would go underneath the pool. Wow. So it was really kind of cool. So they were testing like these different kind of planes there. So they did a lot of testing. And so what we were looking at was a UFO. The triangular UFO was a one of ours.
What's so weird on that to think about is if you cross-reference the thought of that level of technology to what Russia, which has always been presented as our major threat. You know what I mean? For at least for as long as I've been alive, it's like we gotta be careful because of Russia, historically, Cold War, all that. Yeah, I'm not old. How they handled Ukraine, right? You know what's been going on between Russia and Ukraine, and the technological advancement of not being able to keep enough potato to feed their conscripted troops. And then we have stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't like. There are things that I'm an anxious guy, but I don't worry much about military action against the United States going too far, because every time we've had a major conflict, new stuff has been declassified right before it.
We got some cool toys.
We got some cool toys. We're always 20 to 30 years farther along than anything most people know about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
actually
sorry.
So I actually kind of got this story that I've been working on where it's like an alternate universe where JFK was never shot. And one of the things JFK wanted to do was make all of the NASA technology available to the public. And so in this universe, that's the way it is. So technologically speaking, it's in the 80s, but it's advanced from where it's at. And rather than a Cold War with Russia, there was a real war with China in this story. So it's kind of fun, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it reminds me of Civilizations. And my friend, remember if anybody's played Civilization back in the day? My friend would be like, "Dude, we're on Future Tech 4." And I'm like, "What's Future Tech?" And he said, "Oh, that's like mecha and stuff." So it's like 1800s, and they're on mecha and Future
Yeah,
Tech.
it's like sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's
Past
like,
Master
my
Dan
friends are
says,
real into that.
Mecha?
yeah, Mecha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Stompy Robots core rulebook. Check
Oh,
it
I
out on
remember
Amazon
that.
right now. Yeah.
BSR, I remember.
Always
BSR.
promote. You hit a magic word. Mecha is the secret word of the day. Ah!
Shameless self-promotion. Past Master Dan said he saw 2 huge ships in the 70s. Flew right over, saw all the details. So you'll find out like more like normal people. And I'm not talking about Cletus, from the trailer park. Yeah, well they zoomed me up in there and they anal probed me. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking like normal people. Dude, I saw something and it was kind of odd. Geeky Robo says, "Come for the comics, stay for the scorpion whispering crackheads." We've got a few of those.
As much as they admitted that they have these type of things locked away in a bunker and testing it, and that they're very much the ones like making it, whether it's our country or others, where they say they got the original like blueprints from it is pretty interesting. So all that stuff is from downed crafts, unknown crafts, otherworldly vehicles,
Area
and stuff,
51,
all reverse engineered. Yeah.
That right there is where they got that stuff, man.
Well, it's funny because like they said, oh, if we ever have an alien invasion in the movies, we're totally screwed. It's like, probably not.
No. Yeah.
I think we can probably hold our own. We just haven't broken out Gypsy Danger just yet.
And so far, there's been no proof of actual aliens. There's been proof of UFOs. There's been no proof that UFOs come from space, though.
But no, they didn't.
Absolutely no
they
proof
didn't.
of that.
Here's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the Nephilim, okay? Atlantis, which is what they said was the whole like, Greek gods and stuff like that. It was actually real life Nephilim, and so the city existed, and so UFOs actually come from the water because they figured out how to exist down there. I'm not making this crap up.
No, you're talking about Atlantis, Lemuria, old school
Yeah,
civilizations.
because Columbus, when he comes sailing over here, he talks about that flickering candle thing coming up out of the water, flying next to him, and then going back under the water. He describes a UFO, but it's not extraterrestrial; it's subterrestrial, or something like that.
Yeah, you got the mountains.
Aliens and pyramids, all that stuff, they're here, baby. They've been here forever. Don't think I'm crazy. I promise I'm not. I'm not crazy.
Something did come from out there, then chances are they're better than what's on Earth, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
old theology, they say like everything a certain time, like certain beings were landlocked onto Earth because they were acting up and they weren't allowed up there. So, and it's
they got exiled.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that theory too. I like that.
Well,
one
it says
too.
it in the Bible pretty much, and it says in a lot of other theology and whatnot. Like you had the Watchers and whatnot. They weren't allowed to be up there because they were just messing about and being jerks.
If you've seen the Apocrypha and all that in the Bible, not technically in the Bible, you get one of the books in the Bible that it's interesting because I've read some of them, and they actually did a game, PlayStation, several years actually back, and it was called Enoch, Book of Enoch.
I read a lot of that stuff.
Really cool game, how that happened. Enoch, the rise of the Nephilim or something. Yeah. And it was weird because the Nephilim, even though they're supposed to be like half angel, half human, they were like these weird, like stubby llama things. Jumped up aimlessly. So you had to like kind of knock them out or something.
I obviously do a lot of research on this topic for my comic, so it's funny. But so when I talk about this stuff, like I'm bringing up actual, and Rich not understands this. I'm bringing up actual conspiracy theory that is out there, that when you start following the trail, like this is, it could be arguably, the argument for this stuff, there's more evidence to support it than there is to support some of the current political positions that we have. Yeah. Like that's how much evidence is out there for it. That's so it's wild. Things that we could really argue about. So, anyway. Crackheads. Maida says, for a long time, I was convinced that Christie was a hallucination, but the LSD wore off. And she was still here. So Christie is not a hallucination. And I can tell you,
Nita, darling,
deal of
you
certainty
might
that
need
she
to
is real.
loosen your bandana just a touch, dear.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, like, if you ever see me totally unbridled, not on this show, I'm kind of some shit apparently to people, you know. Because I'll say stuff that's like really, really shocking and messed up. But
yeah, you do. And I'll be honest with you, you've really behaved this morning.
I am
well, it's also
genuinely
being sleepy.
impressed.
Yeah, I was about to say she's still tired.
Yeah. I mean, I had a pretty exciting stream yesterday. You know, also being pissed off about my crowdfunding campaign, and then afterwards it actually opened up. Like I'm up to 6.1K, as I said.
Nice.
But it's like also your brain being taken over by the like you're on Indiegogo, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And like so the thing is Indiegogo is at a much more kind of relaxed pace. But with me, it's like Kickstarter. It's like fast and hard for me. So it's like, and it's a completely thing, all or nothing. And I mean, people have told me go on Indiegogo, and I may like if I need to, after I fulfill the Kickstarter, like do an extended thing on Indiegogo. But I'm kind of at this point now, like I think I like it, like the fact that it's fast and hard. Yeah. You know, it's like how a cheetah runs after a zebra and just grabs it and just throttles it. That's just how I am for the kill.
Yeah.
I am astonished Luke has let both those comments go without a that's what she said. I was waiting for the first one. You just
try not to draw attention to it. No, I'm joking. No, we've got ICM Comics on IG. Chris Rizzo is in. What's up? What's up? I love those old commercials, man. I miss those days. Bunch of what's ups going on.
Whatever happened to stuff just being fun? I mean,
we've got comic book black belt. We've got Russ Leach here today.
The moral panic happened, dude. That's why.
Yeah, world panic.
Moral panic happening. That's been happening, and now it's trying not to. It's taking the fun out of a lot of stuff. I was saying this the other day. Like for a while, whether it's music, movies, or even comic books, they're trying to anchor and ground everything with such phenomenal concepts, but they're trying to ground all that in such a reality-driven thing, where it's just taking a lot of the imagination and energy out of a lot of these like mediums and creations.
Yeah, really
this movie and music, hip hop. Back in the days, whenever dudes were rhyming or rapping, they would put these lyrics together that would cause you to imagine what their punchlines were, you know? So you're just like, that's a bit exaggerative. That's weird, but okay.
Yeah,
and now it's not that.
A lot of people
so much better than the mumble junk.
Yeah. Now it's not that. It's
a lot of people don't realize this, but I love rap and hip hop.
Right.
Like they're like, what? I'm like, I love rap and hip hop. I cannot stand this mumble rap stuff. Like, what is this? Like, come on, there's no flow to that.
Right.
It's
Can
like,
I slap somebody when they do that?
I would like to.
Now it's like I know Billie Eilish is a mumble rap, and I mean she has some songs that I like, but sometimes when it's cold, I said, I gotta go and like dress like Billie Eilish today. I just feel that way today. It's all cold and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
It's just, but,
this movie music. Discovering emo.
I mean, the thing is that I'm not one of these people that today's music sucks and everything, but sometimes I'm like, when I listen to today's music, I'm like, really? Or somebody just says, somebody says, well, I am this gender or sexuality. And look, I don't care. It's fine. But I can't take anybody seriously where they've looked like they've rolled out of bed and spent 5 days in the same shirt and it's got pizza stains all over it. And they said, well, you're going to be confused about this. Well, no, it looks clean, dude. But like they just say that and it's like, I'm this. And I'm like, please don't, because you're really annoying everybody in that like group, and being a slob does not make you that. I'm sorry. Like, take a shower, comb your hair. I don't care how you do it, and wear a clean outfit, please.
Yeah. I think Bubba's got the right idea. He said, I heard that pigs might actually be a type of fruit that makes any pork product 100% fruit juice. I get it, man. Yeah. I love the pulp.
Beavers are fish.
Yeah, right.
According to the Catholic Church, at points.
Oh yeah, I remember because like it was like let. You can't have meat. You can't have meat because that's carnal. No, let. Like it was constant Lent the whole time. I'm like, geez, guys.
Yeah.
So they finally had to say, okay, we're done eating fish. We're going to go and define goose a fish or beaver a fish because they swim, because we're tired. And it wasn't like people that are like, oh, well, they're uneducated and stuff. It's like, no, they probably were tired of eating fish all the friggin' time.
It was trying to bend. There's a lot of really fun, religious then bend the rules. My favorite of all time happened, I want to say, in the 1600s in Poland. And I apologize to my history professor for not being able to tack the date. But
Make no apologies, my friend. Make no apologies.
There was a church that was teaching something the Pope didn't like. So the Pope sent a messenger to this Polish church to tell them to cut that out. And being good, motivated people, they chucked him out the equivalent of a third-story window of the abbey.
Oh, that's called defenestration.
Yes, defenestration is one of my favorite words.
It is a term. I went to the Czech Republic, and that actually happened in a church. Sorry, really quick, of defenestration, and how the guy did not die.
Yes,
that he landed in a pile of crap.
What happened is they fell on their knees and they prayed for his safety, and a miracle happened because he fell into the cesspit. And he safely landed right where everything was dropped, waist deep, head first.
In waste.
In waste. But
you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility.
Yeah, it's actually a term. Like, I actually went to the Czech Republic. We went into one of the, because they're Catholic technically, which is weird because it's like they're not super Catholic. It's weird. Hungary is like super Catholic, right?
Right.
I've been in Italy and I've been in the Czech Republic.
The story might have been the Czech Republic that I was thinking of, but I mean, I think we're telling the same story.
Yeah, it was like they got in an argument. They said, "Get out of here," and like that's kind of how the Catholics sort of won. Kind of weird thing because they threw one of the guys out of the window.
Yeah, and since then, no papal interference has been to that particular church.
Yeah, it's like
well,
weird.
I can understand why. It's like
no.
it's F around and find out. Is what it is.
Yeah, well,
I mean, mess around. Just come on.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like when I went to Eastern Europe and just in Europe in general, you think Italy would be super Catholic, Vatican inside, even though it's a whole other country inside. It's like, no, actually, a lot of Italians don't really care anymore about Catholicism.
Yeah.
Like even the guide was telling me, like you see all these Catholic churches everywhere, but we're kind of like the people are the least Catholic pretty much.
Yeah.
Like they don't like the old ladies probably, but not the people themselves. Like they just whatever.
We got Jody McPhee in the chat today. Sorry to interrupt,
hey, Joe.
Want to make sure we're introducing him today.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And then,
welcome
but yeah, like stuff like that. But like places like Hungary is like super Catholic. They're like super friggin' Catholic. Mm-hmm. And Czech Republic, no, not so much anymore. They used to be, but like you go to Hungary, like if you ever go to Hungary, it's actually a pretty cool place. They actually have a king, like the only king that's actually a saint, I think. And they actually have his hand.
Jeez.
Oh, mummified hand still like holding like I think or it's on top of the the ball that some of the royals have, like that ball with a cross.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I think they still have a hand, but it's like Saint Stephen, and then there's Matthias there, so it's like
reliquaries are really neat and interesting things, and I find the desire to preserve DNA of certain people to that extent, going back to the UFOs and stuff and all that, the Egyptian mummification and all that, it all seems like it's to preserve the DNA more than any.
I gotta say this. We talk about the violence in comic books, but they've got some dude's hand. They got a severed hand.
Well, he's dead. It rotted away. The rest of it rotted away. And it's interesting because it's like with the Catholic Church, it was called My Friendly Mortician. She's on YouTube, and she actually talks about things. Like she's located in California, and I'm guessing you're in New York, right, Ryan? Did I get your name right? I'm sorry. I'm like
me, Rich. Oh no, Rhode Island. Rhode Island.
Okay, I was close. But Rich, are you in the East Coast, right?
Yes.
Rhode Island.
Are you in New York?
Rhode Island. It's like several hours away from New York, so it's
so it's like kind of close.
Yes,
like
pretty much,
So the thing is, like, she's talking about how the cemetery laws are different in New York City per se than California. I think California, like, there's like certain crematoriums. It's weird because like in California, I think you can have a crematorium attached to a cemetery, but in New York you can't. It's weird, like the laws there. Like she'll talk about this because she's an actual mortician.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things she talked about was the incorruptibility of saints. And she says they did a quiz like, is this incorruptible? Is that incorruptible? Because the idea is that, okay, if your body doesn't rot, then you are a pure soul and you're incorruptible. Not always the case. It's not always that. Like some of the bodies were altered, so they were embalmed in that way or covered with wax. Mm-hmm. But they said, okay, here's the tongue of this saint. Is that corruptible or incorrupt? Is that corrupted or incorruptible? And she guessed, it's, the rest of the body's gone. So yeah, it's like, no, it doesn't have to have the rest of the body. It's like it's preserved, like some part of the body is preserved. So the tongue is actually considered incorruptible. It doesn't have to be the whole body. It's like a weird set of rules. And I think Saint Stephen or Saint Matthias that actually had the hand, because like literally they dug him up and looked, because that's what the Catholic Church is really friggin' morbid. Like they'll actually dig up the body a year later and say, hey, what rotted and what stayed, But they actually dug him up and they actually just found the hand intact.
Oh,
so
nice.
they kept it as a relic.
Like Luke Skywalker holding the saber.
Yeah, but I mean,
nice, very nice.
But yeah, it's like stuff like that. So things that are considered corruptible and incorruptible, it's this whole other set of things. It's not necessarily your whole body is like whole.
Right.
Like they have Padre Pio.
Jesus can be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like for me, I'm not Catholic. I just like researching really morbid topics because I'm weird that way. But like the Padre Pio, they exhumed him after a year, and he's like, incorruptible. He's a saint. And that's his whole body. But in the old days, they would just like say, this thing remained. Then that was the qualification.
You think? What are the possibilities? This is my drawing hand, so
right, yeah.
Well, you better start, man. And then they go into the Asian thing of self-mummification. Like you probably heard of that. Yeah. The monks like doing 1,000 days of fasting and then 1,000 days of poison tea, and then they slowly mummify themselves. And it's really crazy.
I'll pass.
Gilded mummies. Look at the gilded mummies.
Nick's a wizard. Past Master Dances. Nick's a wizard. Agent Zero. I just backed hybrids. So very stoked to get with the awesomeness.
Clearly,
thank you very much. Glenn Fleming says Elon can buy all my art and IPs if he wants to, and it would be less than the cost of Twitter. It probably would. Past Master Dances. I'm a mechanic, and swearing is a tool of the trade.
Right.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the Christmas Story, where the dad, it was a tapestry. It was like a work of art, so to speak. His swearing. Yeah.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah. The Chevy Chase. That
crazy scene. Yeah, that was special. That and it just doesn't hit the same when they edit that.
Reply to the ninja real quick. Yeah. That's not an orb. I live in a studio apartment. It's small. It's dusty. I'll clean it. No matter what, it just gets dusty. So that's nothing supernatural. It's just a piece of dust.
So your studio's not haunted. That's all right.
I'm glad you know that. My jam when I do review tapes and stuff. At least when I did. Now you walk into a place and you hear "Get out." Now I'm a little more.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
The ninja says, "Did you hear about the UFO?" That hacked missile systems. I did not hear about that.
Yeah, they shut them down. There was a report where one of them, I forgot which military base, but it's well recorded. It's reported and everything. And UFO just showed up and shut their missiles down. And they couldn't, all their whole system, I don't know, lingo or whatever. But it's been, even in other countries, these things have popped up around missile bases and shut them all down just to flex. And then they leave.
It's like they're independent in some way. Yeah. So, we'll tell our stories. And we'll believe what we believe. People are distracted with nonsense. What's that?
Oh, I have more supernatural ones. I've dreamed of certain things and all this other stuff. It's been kind of weird. So I don't get into it because it's sort of odd. It's not like the typical stuff like orbs and things. Because, I know what you mean by orbs, Rich, because like I watch Ghost Adventures and I'm not saying that's the end all be all. It's the least dramatic. There's ghosts. Remember Ghost Hunters? They said, "Oh, what's that?" It's like, why didn't you put a camera there? At least, like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've met Zach.
Yeah.
And
I've met him kind of personally too.
Like I used to do the ghost hunting thing.
Yeah.
We had an internet show called Ghost Diaries where we would
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And so it got pretty popular. We would go to paranormal conventions and stuff like that. But we were invited into the Bobby Mackey country bar.
Oh
That's where I knew you from before I met you. I'm
Yeah, okay.
I'm not kidding. So this whole time, I'm like, I have known Luke from something.
I was a mild celebrity. I didn't realize I was a celebrity until I went. People were taking their picture, asking for my autograph. I'm like, what are you talking about? And my partner, Tobin, he was like, dude, our show's blowing up on the internet. Like, you've no idea.
Oh, I'm just laughing because Tobin, Tobin's spirit guy from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that Tobin. It's different Tobin.
No, I know. I'm just laughing because like the correlation is funny.
Yeah, but yeah. So he was like he did a lot of the online promotions for things. I just did all the filming and editing is what I did, and we kind of co-hosted this thing with our team, and yeah. So we went, and I warned him. I warned Zach. I'm like, dude, like that. Don't screw around there. Like something picked me up and threw me against the wall. It was the last thing I ever went on, because I'm like, I'm not really a true believer when it comes to that stuff, But I started doing one of those things where you antagonize. I started antagonizing, right?
Yeah.
And there's this guy, he's big burly cop right across from me, and we start hearing footsteps in the gravel right outside the door. We're down in the basement, and he's like, I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah, I heard that. And next thing I know, I was like, I'm like running off the mouth. I'm a young guy, I'm running off the mouth. Next thing I know, something grabs my shoulders, picks me up, slams me into the wall. Man, I got beat up. I had bruises and scratches. We packed up and got out of there. And I told Zach, man, be careful in there, dude. Like, you're going to get hurt, because I knew he was there the following weekend. And yeah.
Wait, you're the guys who shook the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
For
a stupid internet show. We had about 60,000 viewers, but I mean,
The thing
I was
is
done.
that
I was out. I was like, done, guys.
The thing is that it's funny because it's like, as I said, I like watching the shows. I've actually been on a couple of ghost hunts myself, like on myself. Like we went to the Ojai cemetery, and it was kind of weird because one of the girls so there were two creepy things about it that were coincidences. One of them was a baby, and that baby died the day it was born, and that was my birthday, which was crazy.
Oh, weird.
That was one. And number two, there was a young girl who died in the 80s because she was thrown from her horse, like probably in her early 20s, young woman. And it was funny because we were asking questions. You had the one that went through all the radio frequencies. I forgot what it's called. What?
Spirit box.
Yeah, the spirit box.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that thing.
And we'd ask her questions. I mean, it wasn't like, we were pissing her off. It's just like more of like, oh yeah, tell us about yourself. And she's like, why? Like, oh shit. Like, sorry.
So she's a libertarian.
It's just like, why? Okay. It's like that. And it's kind of like I was sort of
Come on.
So it was just like weird, like how she had this attitude, and it was, but it wasn't threatening. It wasn't awful. It was just kind of like, whoa, like why? Like it was just like, yeah, that was something out there. Yeah. And then there was another one. There were just some creepy aspects of that cemetery and the Ojai one. It was like actually a nice, cute cemetery. Cemetery could be cute.
A cute cemetery.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Look up at the Ojai cemetery. It's like literally a cute little path, and it's like got cemetery, but it's not that creepy sort of stereotypical plot line cemetery. It's like actually got some kind of neat little weird headstones and things. But people.
We're gonna start moving along, guys. We're already about the hour and 23-minute mark. So let's blow through a couple more of these comments, and then I want to start talking about your guys' campaigns and kind of this your inspiration behind what you're doing. And so we can tell people how to get a hold of your projects and why they might want to. So we do have Jody McPhee says people are distracted with nonsense. So when facts come out, it becomes a whatever to them. And that's unfortunate. Pastmaster Dan says the Earth is a carcass. Glenn Fleming says a trillion stars in each galaxy with planets going around most of them. A trillion galaxies out there, and we're all alone. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. But propaganda is 90% of a war. It says the Ninja, and I believe that is absolutely true. Propaganda leads us and guides us through that stuff. You didn't say that sarcastic enough, Glenn. Yeah. Lucas from Kokomo. The Beach Boys are full of it. 2 different Kokomos, my friend. Two different Kokomos. But we took that song as our own. Jamaica, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Yeah, we loved it.
Your voice is coming back, Luke.
It's coming back. It's getting there. I say I got what I need. But Jody says, in a way, I feel that we are trained to have squirrel moments based on what talents we might have. We are told to focus more on aspects that improves a talent or skill than seeking truth. And maybe that's true, but we do like to seek truth here. We're going to skip a few things here. I could tell you some stories. Gravity isn't what you think it is. UFOs aren't what you think they are. Earth isn't what you think it is. But is anything? Is anything? That's the question. That will give you an existential crisis. But here's the thing. I'm not here to give you an existential crisis today. I'm here to give you some nerd bacon. Same thing with the UFO that hacked the missile system. They can actually be drones. Probably. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The movements, they talked about how the movements, no human could handle the G's from the sudden turns. But if there's no one, physically behind the wheel, no problem.
Well, drones are a thing.
But they've been saying that since the 80s. The UFOs would make these ridiculous, very incredibly high-speed, sharp turns.
It's so funny that we're talking about UFOs today. All because of Rich's backdrop. It's Rich. You're responsible for the UFO talk today.
Sorry.
So if you guys do not like, if those are watching,
sorry, not sorry.
But you know what? We've maintained a solid audience the whole time.
Right.
So I'm thinking
we're
that people like talking about this.
Yeah, people like weird stuff,
I mean, like we went on the whole thing of corruptible and incorruptible stuff.
Yeah. So I have to talk. I always have to edit Nita a little bit. So I saw some crap, and I really was sober at the time. It's why I smoke. It's why I smoke weed now.
No, you know what? All joking aside, that's part of why I have a hardline sobriety rule. I've seen a lot of things, and I've never partaken in any of that stuff. In part, so that when I say I saw X, Y, or Z, there's no credibility issue.
Right. Past Master Dan says, bingo, Luke Nephilim will present themselves as gods. They will. And welcome, Telepathic Bunny. T-Buns is in the chat this morning. Nick Tucker looks like proof of aliens to me. Do you think a human will wear that shirt? No
I am
love
not
for your
a
shirt, man.
cryptid. Contrary to popular belief in certain feeds, I am not actually a cryptid, let alone an alien. Unidentified
Johnny Cage.
Underwater objects or unidentified aquatic objects.
Yeah. Johnny Cage is here. So unidentified swimming objects. So USO is what we might call the USO. There's that other thing called the USO. We can't call it that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think that's what they do call it, the USO, unidentified submerged object or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that. Submerged
And then
object.
they did an interesting thing about a whale piece of anatomy versus a Loch Ness monster. You probably saw them everywhere.
Yep. Johnny Cage agrees. Them watchers, they couldn't keep it in their pants. No, they couldn't. They were, and then they just screwed everything up.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Was it
That
some
is the
biblical
most
thing?
literal sentence you've ever said, Luke. You referred to the watchers and said they screwed everything up.
Literally.
This is like an old biblical.
That's what she said.
Women would have to wear their hair up whenever they were going out to like temples to pray or something like that. They would have to wear their hair up and cover themselves because not to tempt the watchers of the Nephilim or the angels and whatnot.
Yeah.
Past
Master Dan says Ezekiel was abducted. We believe Ezekiel. Well, it depends on your viewpoint on that one. My biblical viewpoint says he wasn't abducted, but it was something else. But
he was invited.
Ancient Aliens puts up a pretty solid argument for that. I've watched the episode; it was pretty entertaining. And honestly, what is aliens and what is homosexual? I don't even know
what genders.
I don't even know what he's
are.
saying about. There's a lot of probing going on. What is homosexual abductions? There's a lot of probing. I don't know. Maybe that's just like their dogs, and that's how they say hello. I don't. That's like shaking hands. I don't know what's going on.
My black cat, she does it to my ginger cat all the time, and she's a girl.
Yeah.
Like jam it up in there, like.
Yikes!
And we're like, what are you doing? Never saw cats do that to you. I mean, yes, they sniff each other, but it's like.
That's funny.
That is funny. Yeah, that is moving right along. UFO lovers, are you aware of a place called Black Tower in Fort Huachuca? I did not say that right. Arizona.
Huachuca, Arizona. I think that's what it is. It
Huachuca.
sounds
Now,
like a native name.
that's interesting because if I'm right, that is where the White Sands area is, and there's indigenous legends about another people who lived there, and they had a cataclysm of a blinding light, and they had to leave the area for 10,000 years because everything that would, everything died, and what grew was twisted and malformed. It's been through several.
Where is this?
The White Sands area of Arizona.
I see.
Some of the native people have oral traditions that basically say, yeah, this area was blighted for 10,000 years and everyone had to leave because of this great white flash and all this other stuff. And when you listen to the description, it mimics the description of a nuclear explosion from somebody, and then the after effects of radiation. It's a very weird.
Very weird.
Folklore.
Same thing with over in India, and it dates back to the old Mahabharata story. But to this day, I believe like it's like all the stones look like glass because of the whole impact. I believe the place still gives off like faint hints of radiation. Well, it's the same exact story, but over in India.
But what they don't want you to do is talk about it. They're like, yeah, and they brush it off. It's like how are there pyramids in Egypt and in South America?
Well, this is also funny, right? This is the thing that I find funny. It's like when the whole Russia-Ukraine thing was happening, they said, oh yeah, they went and invaded Chernobyl. I'm like, why? There's like friggin' nothing in Chernobyl. Like they actually had tourist things like where a tourist could go, but you had to wear a full radiation suit and you could only stay X amount of time because the rads would kill you.
You'll die, yeah.
Longer.
That's what I like in my vacation is potential of death.
Yeah, like you would go there, but there's absolutely nothing there. It's like, unless if there's something there that we don't know about, but I'm like, they attacked Chernobyl. I'm like, why?
Putin has been fixated on a narrative that Ukraine has been developing nuclear weapons. He's been selling that right alongside with the narrative of them being Nazified. It's balderdash, but the nuclear material there would be very useful if you were doing dirty bombs.
Probably. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
That's where I think it's much scarier. And then you have the irony of the Russian troops were taking souvenirs from the sites. So they're having a massive problem with radiation contamination because they brought heavy metal vehicles through irradiated territory. So it's really, really problematic.
That's from my dad's work.
Oh, cool.
This is not real. This is a simulated uranium pellet. But I thought it was kind of cool because my dad used to design nuclear reactors.
Oh, cool. Then you know exactly what's going on, most likely, because you probably grew up with him.
Hojo makes a point.
I kind of do, like with Chernobyl. What's interesting with Chernobyl, and I'll get off on that because I know we got to get on to other things. What I know about Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island is that 3 Mile Island was more superior because it had a self-contained system. No one got poisoned. With Chernobyl, they were running it hot all the time, and they had a different technology that was actually much more inferior. Not a good cooling system. That's why it blew up. They were running it too hot all the time. Whereas even though 3 Mile Island melted down, it was all self-contained. So it's like nobody got poisoned, nobody got killed.
The miniseries Chernobyl is actually very interesting. If you haven't watched it, I do suggest you do.
This is fascinating stuff.
Yeah. So Hojo makes a point. This is not the Christie Shin I have seen. It's like watching The Wolf of Wall Street on cable. Yeah, this is a I'm telling you, this is a safe for work Christie. And but what's also cool is you're getting to hear a lot of Christie's interest and kind of things that she knows. Christie's a very knowledgeable woman.
That's what
we've
the
had
show's
a lot
about.
of cool conversations.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that McDonald's offered a pineapple burger for Lent? True story. That has
Yes.
happened, and I'll tell you, that is like some of the worst things that could happen. I think.
Well, that was.
Well, I like pineapple.
The pineapple burger, the original creator McDonald's,
Hawaiian
I lost
burger,
his name, set that up to try to get it, and then he didn't like the idea of the fillet of fish, so he actually had a contest to see which would sell more: the pineapple burger he thought was the good idea, or the fillet of fish. And I think they sold 250 sandwiches total, and 2 were the pineapple burger, and everybody bought the fillet of fish, and that's why it's on the menu today.
Because it was literally a slice of pineapple where the burger should be.
Yes.
I don't know if that would be good. I mean,
No,
the
it's
thing is
It's
that-
not.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not.
like if I could see it combined with like meat or like
Oh, yeah, you
beef
put
or
a
pork, then
burger
that's good.
under it and like a sweet, almost like teriyaki sauce or something.
And a couple of slices of bacon, and I'll eat anything.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Like there's a Moco Loco, and that stuff is good. You know, that's got a patty and everything. And I don't think Moco Locos come with a pineapple, but I'm just saying like the whole pineapple on a pizza is kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh, you're just pairing pork and pineapple. That's a good pairing. You know?
Oh, I love Hawaiian pizza, and if you want to cancel me for it, hit me, because I'm a fat guy who loves Hawaiian pizza. It matches my shirts.
Yeah, I was about to say
White
that.
on
You got the
black.
shirt.
Yeah. Jody McPhee says, "Who said bacon can't be educational too? As you digest it, see what I did there. We see what you did there.
We saw.
You see what you did there. And of course, defenstration. Good times. Good times. Good times." Facebook user says, "Sup, people? Everyone support indie creators.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Back
Yeah,
Team and
he's
B.
nice.
Yeah. Look into the Inquisition if you want nightmares. There are some nightmares there.
Hey,
But
you know,
you'll never expect the Spanish.
well, if it wasn't for the Spanish going around and doing the filthy things they did, I would not be here. So, I guess thanks.
What's
That's
your
nice.
ethnicity,
Welcome
Rich?
to Look Scary Campfire Stories. Yes, boy, do I have some.
We
I'm
should do
telling you,
that, Luke.
I've lived an interesting life. I got to tell you, I've
We
I've
should-
had a lot of crazy interests in my life and pursued them to the near fullest. My favorite time we did this it was a horror convention, a paranormal convention, and it was in a haunted theater that we had done an episode for, and we actually premiered the episode at the theater.
Oh.
So on the big screen. So we actually aired the episode there, and that's where like I didn't realize that I was, that we were kind of like mild celebrities, because we had people taking selfies with us, and they wanted to buy our merch. We didn't have merch. Like we're just a little group of guys trying to do this, we had some gals in there, and but we're just trying to make the best little show we could and pursue some of our interests, like what is this whole paranormal thing, right? And I came from the religious standpoint, where I there was obviously some phenomena out there that I didn't understand, but my default was like, if there's activity, it must be demonic, and I was that was solidified when something lifted my 270-pound frame up and slammed it into the wall. And I was like, that's not right. I was out. But yeah, so yeah, I got some.
Luke, why
go-
on God's good earth do you not have a Luke Stone's Ghost Stories comic?
I just haven't had time to make it yet.
Like,
My sister,
I'm still
my sister is in the
serious.
chat. Kelly, it's good to see you today. I love
Okay.
Kokomo as long as I don't have to live there. Right? I know. That's the thing. Kokomo is a great place to be from. So, really great place to be from. So yeah.
Yeah.
Loch Ness is an eel. We've talked about a lot today. In fact, in Enoch, the Watchers
Yeah,
were
but a
charged
lot of the lake monsters are actually sturgeon. We can talk anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, so the Watchers are actually charged with bringing our petitions to God, but they corrupted themselves. That's true, and they were here to try to protect us from the fallen ones, and they just became more of the fallen ones.
Yep.
Is what happened. It was crazy.
Supposed to show you, like, it's interesting in that aspect. It's like these beings that were created from, the great creator. They're not completely infallible. I'm saying that in fact they fall into temptation and stuff. So it makes you, as advanced as they are physically, spiritually, maybe, they're not perfect. So
just like we are, we easily fall into temptation.
Yeah.
Speaking of temptation, we're going to skip the rest of the comments for a moment, and I want to talk about your guys' books, okay? Because we are now at an hour and 40 minutes. We haven't even talked about your campaigns yet. So I just want to get the sense of, so you guys have been crowdfunding, and it has been kind of a crazy journey for both of you. Christie is nearly funded. She's got 8 days to go. But Rich, you wound up your first time out. You did $13,335. Now, you're still in demand. So
no, I'm still in the second month. Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got 17 days left.
Yeah. Yep, this is the last of the second month.
Dude, you're going to run this thing up even more.
I hope so. It's been actually the slowest it's been is this past week. In the past couple of days, it's been at the weird standstill.
Well, you've got 200. There's always a plateau in the middle.
Yeah.
You've got 290 backers.
Yep.
Dude, that is amazing.
Well, not only that, but there was tax time, so yeah, you got to factor that in.
That's exactly what
That's top two for me.
Yep, I plan to launch in February at first, but working in the tattoo industry for 20 years now, I know how the tax season is and when is good for us. So I originally planned in February, saw that there was a bunch of people that were already in the network and crowdfunding way before me or well-known, launching at the same time. So I was like, that doesn't seem good. So I pushed it back to March. And then I was like, okay, this is perfect. There's not many people launching in tax time. So.
Yeah. I have to read this comment because it's funny. Luke, if there's activity, it must be demonic. Also, Luke, I'm going to antagonize the MFer. Yeah.
Y'all realize what a pastor, priest, etc.'s job is, right? Like, spreading the joy and love of Jesus Christ is on one side, and kicking evil in the teeth, is kind of the other. I'm sorry, my paladin is showing.
That one kicked me. That one kicked me that day.
That kind of reminds me of Dust Till Dawn. Says, "Are you a faithless preacher? Or are you the mad effing son of God?" And he's like, and he said, "I'm the mad effing son of God," which is hilarious because I'm also a minister in the Universal Life Church, which is hilarious. I never really talk about it. It was just something I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think
Past Master Dan says you'll regret not getting the first release of Rich Ayala's Roach Balls. Rue the day, I tell you. Rue the day. And I got to tell you. So Rich, just tell me a little bit about your story. Now, obviously, and I'm going to pull up the campaign just so that we can see so we can see some of this artwork. You are the artist.
Yep.
And writer for this project.
Yep.
And we're going to keep this safe for work. So I'm not going to show your trailer, which is hilarious.
There's also some sketchy stuff down at the bottom, so I don't know if you.
Yeah, we're gonna keep away from that. We're gonna keep away from that. But so Rich, I like this. Roach Balls is Garbage Pail Kids meet Sin City. It was dope. Matt Fowler. Matt Fowler is a legend among the CGers out there. Give Matt the link. Give Fowler the link. And Candy wait in the car. So that's our guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So we've got his quote there, which is great. Now, a couple things about your book I do want to point out that you drew this by hand. See, I do my research. Yeah. You do this by hand, traditional, colored, and everything yourself at 9x12.
Yes. And
you're printing the book at 9x12.
That is
so
correct.
That you get the full art.
Yep.
So you get the full art of this. Here, let me throw a little Viagra on there.
Some test prints that I made because I didn't want to mess around and find out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, these will be 9x12, full color.
Yep.
All nice. The resolution will be a little bit better. Stock.
I like the character. He just looks disgusting.
Yeah, that's exactly, kind of cute though in a sort of kind of way,
Yeah. It is Garbage Pail Kids, very much Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got an Adult Swim type feel. So this is not a story for kids.
No.
But so
tell by the switchblade.
Tell about the story. What inspired this Cat Crap Island?
It's very much a story for the immature part in all of us adults. So Cat Crap Island, my bad. Yeah, all right. You even said it too. You set me up for it, and I
set you right up.
Yeah,
for the edited version, and you just totally ignored me.
What a story, Mark.
I'm just so conditioned and assimilated by, the streets.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's a very much a bad guy story. So there's no heroes in this. You know, I often grew up admiring the bad guys and the villains and the negative characters and stories and whatnot, because I felt like they really made the hero. So you remove the hero, this is what we got, is a very antagonistic, mischievous type of creature surviving on Crack Cap Island. And I can't even say surviving. It sounds like he's struggling, but he's not. He's just enjoying himself pretty much.
He's thriving, right? So he's thriving.
Yep.
So this is kind of his journey as a bad guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Pretty much. You know, it's a very antagonistic city too. So Cat Crap Island isn't filled with good people or anything like that. It's filled with
so among bad people, he's the worst.
Right. And we'll see that as it evolves, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, but everybody sucks in this comic, so you kind of don't care.
Right,
so
exactly.
What made you want to tell this story?
Just art. I've always had a creative mind, you know, always creating characters, and I created Sully Cucaracha in early 2000s, and I've loved the character ever since, and slowly, like, you know, built, took away, added, broke the character down, and built him up to what he is now. And I love the character so much. It embodies everything I love about art, my real life experiences, people I don't like. So Sully isn't like, oh, it's everything I like about people. No, Sully's very much a lot of things I don't like about people at all.
I just love how it's frozen to see the bugs or whatever they are fornicating and getting crushed. I like how it's just frozen on that. It's supposed to be a safe for work thing.
My bad.
No, it's funny because it's just like
I was listening to Rich and totally stopped. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, so the whole story is revolved around some grimy type stuff, you know?
Yeah, I love the art style. And I like, so your and Christie's book is very similar, that what you do is hashtag canceled.
You can't cancel me though. I'm brown. I'll pull a race card.
Right. All right. Yeah.
You are my hero right there. That's.
Oh, there's I
Christie's
did
got
a strip
two on
on
you.
Legion Invasion, and like one of the guys, Stone Abdullah, he's black, right? I said, dude, order that shirt for old people. Like he'll just have Asian Invasion that. They can't say anything.
Well, yeah, like
Can't see
Christie's
crap,
got two on you.
That's awesome.
She's Asian and a woman, so she can play both of those cards.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's what I like about both of you guys. You don't play those cards because it's based on the merit of your work. And here's the thing. Both of your books have like this similar quality to them, that you're eviscerating people in fiction. You're like, these characters are either direct kind of analogs for people, or they're a collection of traits from some of these people. And it seems like there's something almost therapeutic about it, because Rich, your life is art. You said earlier that what you do every day is art, but this is your way to be creative as an outlet. So using your art as a way to describe that, like, how is it as an outlet? What does this what is this book for you?
It's everything. It's expression. It's full on 100. Like I said, no, past that, like 200% expression. So with other outlets, other medias, other artistic endeavors, I can't really express myself wholeheartedly 100%, because there's always limits. Whether it's a commission or working on something for a customer, you got to go to them or abide by their rules and expectations. Or if it's say just a painting, it's not sequential art, it's a painting, so you're stuck and you're limited. This whole thing, this whole sequential art, this whole medium is the best expression that I come across artistically. So I can express everything from, like what I said, to the things I like to the things I don't like. And it doesn't have to be in your face, like I'm telling you, this is what I like. You can tell in just the art style or certain color palettes or the environment, like, oh, this dude really loves old school 90s cartoons. He loves that late night stuff, heavy metal, underground comics.
Oh, this
I'm
is
just
definitely
bloody
like Adult
mess at the
Swim.
bottom of that cat crap hill. Like, I don't know if that's a vulture beak thing or what.
Yeah.
It's one of the harpies, the junkyard harpies eating the little creatures you saw
So
earlier.
the art is very expressive, like very, very expressive, very raw. I love how you've made everything look very grimy.
Yep.
Like, you know, it definitely fits
Thank you.
the bill. The sequential storytelling is great. You offer a lot of pages here for people to look at.
So I'm not much of a story writer. You know, I don't plot my stuff. I tried writing out a script and then going at that, like writing the story or drawing it from the script. and I realized like I'm placing myself as my own boss, and I hated it. I did not like it,
Yeah.
and I'm not a good writer, so everything had to be kind of like ideas, loosely plotted, and then just straight from there. So I felt like if that was going to be the case, then the story and the art has to carry a lot of this, and it has to be all style. Like, when it comes to art, I love style. So a person, an artist with style, no matter how simple or complex it is, as long as they have some sort of like honest style, will stick out more than any type of like person educated in all types of art forms or whatever. Yeah, see, this is where you're going into bad territory now.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go back up here to the top.
Just don't be on the ones of those two fornicating. That's all.
Yeah.
You got to say the F word. Say fornication. There you go.
Fornication. Yeah.
As you went down, there's a couple things, some certain things flop out on some.
Yes. I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Yeah. That's funny though, because I like it how it's like, it's sort of like R. Crummish in a way.
Yeah.
Like that filthy, weird lines and everything.
Yep.
I mean, I love underground comics. So when I say stuff like, like I said to one of my friends who does Real Deal Comics, and you're familiar with Lawrence, right? Lawrence Hubbard? Yeah, I have that. He's one of my good friends, dude.
Yep.
He gave me like the old school, like Real Deals, not the ones that were printed, but the one, how he had a friend named Harold, right? Remember Harold? Like that was his friend. Harold passed like years ago, but he did ones of like Harold that actually drew him out. And Harold really was an artist, but the crudeness of the drawings made it funnier.
Yeah.
So Lawrence and I are good friends. So it's really funny.
I love that book. I came across Cartoonist Kayfabe, brought him to my attention, and then I had to get the book, and it blew my mind about like how crazy this book is. It's a wild book. It's nuts.
It's kind of like, and I've said this to Lawrence, and I didn't mean that to insult him. It's just like, but it belongs like at the bottom of like the most ghetto gas station bathroom.
Yep.
And he started laughing, and I said, "That's the thing," because that's how the people are. They're really awful people. They're really messed up people. They're not good people. None of them are good. You know?
Yeah, and I love that.
It's great, and it was funny. But it's I have that one, and then he's given me a few others that Harold drew out and everything. Hey, what's up? Seymour Titty.
Yeah, that's my lady.
I'll tell you.
I've never seen. I've seen Seymour Butts with Seymour Titties. I have never seen.
Yeah, so we got. Yeah, so people are liking this. I like that Past Master Dancers. I like Rich's crazy style. I don't need to know why he's crazy. I like to know why you're crazy, but no, I see the expression. I almost see the therapy in it. It's like, being able to write a character that is not like, you're not in love with this guy. Like, he's not your friend.
No.
Like, he's like him doing bad things and bad things happening to him. It's entertainment. It's like, this is, it's almost like, how bad can he be? Let me think about all the bad people I know. Here's how bad he can be. What's the worst thing that I can do to him? Let's try that. That seems like kind of where you're going with this. And I'm excited. I'm excited for your project and what you've been able to do. Again, this is not for kids. I do not suggest that you buy this for your kids. Buy it for yourself. If you're into this kind of thing, this is, I know for some of our viewers, this is right up your alley. Now, what I also want to talk about now is since the campaigns are similar, I'm going to bring up another campaign. And that's why you guys are both on today, because there's a similarity. There's a similarity.
The camera is really starting to bob. I don't know if you can see it. I want to make sure everything's.
Oh yeah, it's because I'm tapping on my computer, and see, there I go. It's not an earthquake. That's me.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like going to fall off its stand or something in the middle of the stream.
It's secure. It's secure. It's my, it's my setup. It's the way it is.
Maybe it's God trying to get at you for previewing demons and roaches and.
I know, right? Yeah, stuff. It's like, I really do. I thank you guys for behaving yourself today, because some of my church family, they do watch the show, and I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
But I also want to promote you guys, because you guys are really nice human beings, and you're very creative, and you got a really cool style about you. And this is right up. I know a lot of people that are. It's probably a guilty pleasure for them. They may not be like, yeah, I'm really into this stuff, but like secretly they are very into this stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to give people an opportunity to take a look at it and see what we have here. Frog G though says, "I need to hop out later on and maybe back these good-looking books."
There is
Absolutely.
no
Thank you, Frog
maybe.
G.
You got
Safe,
no
Maybe.
safe swimming, Frog.
Yeah.
See
So
you
we
later,
have
Frog. Thank
things
you.
left on Demon B. You all suck. So your title, "You All Suck," made me laugh because I was like, I've got a shirt that says "Y'all need Jesus," and I'll wear that shirt. And I probably should have wore it today. So yeah, it says "Y'all need Jesus," and I get that. It's like I think So tell me a little bit about "You All Suck" and kind of where the inspiration. Why Demon B? Why do you write her? Why do you make this book?
Well, it's based on girls I really hate. Like, unfortunately, like us as women, we go on about women power, we go on about women things and women stuff, and I guess women drinks or all that. But in reality, a lot of women treat each other like crap. I'm going to be very honest here. Like, especially the ones that yell the loudest about women's rights, they tend to treat other women the worst. I mean, they're the most unsupportive when a woman has been attacked, either assaulted or whatnot, or like they'll gang up on her. It's just like a pecking order, or they'll like do little things like really messed up jealousies and stuff. And I don't want to say like women are evil or horrible. Like, some women are really great. I'm beginning to have a lot of really good women friends, but at the beginning I had really horrible women friends. Like, they would do all sorts of really messed up, nasty stuff, but they'd have a smile on their face and it wouldn't be obvious. So, and again, it's not saying all women are bad, but just that element exists. And what it is that Demon B was based on girls that I hated, especially after moving to LA. And she basically was into cocaine and stuff, but would always be constantly posing like, "Oh, I'm hurt. I broke my ankle. I have Crohn's disease." Like, you probably ran into that, Rich, like where you had the chick constantly taking pictures of herself. "I'm hurt. I'm depressed." And again, if you are expressing stuff online, like about your feelings, I'm not saying being vulnerable is being like that, but there's a certain element or taste about it that's disgusting. I don't agree that humans are evil in general. I think we tend to just screw up, because then you go like, "Oh, all people are stupid," and you don't give them personal responsibility for this.
No. Persons are smart. People are stupid.
Well, people just
individuals are awesome.
But a lot of people like to act stupid. I think that's it. A lot of people
There's like this herd mentality that happens, and they get dumb together, or they say stupid things together. And,
So Demon B is a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell, where people throw their dog crap in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one didn't happen, but she's stupid. So she's just like the typical wannabe person that's a fame whore that is just constantly clout chasing all the time.
Okay, so she's trying to start Armageddon, the second one. But the first one hasn't happened yet.
The first one. But she's stupid. She just wants to do it, but then she gets like distracted by promiscuous sex and hard drugs. Like, there's just always something. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die."
So Demon B is not you.
Here's some tights I want. Get them for me.
So Demon B is not you.
No, it's not me. Although it's funny because Lawrence, Rich and I my friend Lawrence actually called me DB a lot, because it's just the cartoon that I draw. So it's not like I'm her. I'm not Demon B, but it's just funny how.
So it's again, here's a villain of the story that you're kind of is a collection.
Guys, I just got a call I have to take for some medical stuff.
Sure.
I love the show. Support folks if it's your jam, but I'm gonna have to jet and it might take a while. So I'll see the rest of you folks next.
All right, yeah.
Bye.
See you, Nick.
Easy, brother.
You sure to check out Nick's stuff, yeah.
So Demon B was just based off girls that I hated, because what I also hated about our society was like, "Oh, forgive and move on." And again, not saying that forgiveness and moving on and forgetting about it, letting it go is bad, but how we teach it is really horrible. Like, just stuff it all the way down and just deal with it. Oh, but
hide it away.
It's like, I'm not okay with what they did with me. It's like, well, you were too nice, so they blame you. And it's like, so I can understand naivete, but
we do blame the victim a lot in our society.
Yeah, and it's not the traditional, "Oh, you just blame the rape victim. Oh, no, we do it on much more subtler ways. Like, or they tell you, "Well, I'm over it, but I want to stab them." And you're like, okay. So I've gotten to this point in my life. It's like, why are you telling me advice that makes you miserable when you do it? So why are you telling me I should do this? Like, go away. So Demon B is basically a collection of absurdity and stupidity that I saw in the last 2 years when COVID was happening. So the book itself is called Triggered because everybody was triggered because everybody was stuck at home watching the internet, depending on
people are still triggered. We just talked about it earlier with Elon buying Twitter. Like that triggered some folks.
It's not as bad because people are going out. But in LA, this is how lame it was. Okay, like during the George Floyd marches and everything, okay? This is what disgusted me. All the influencers came out in their makeup and their sexy clothes, holding like, here, where's my camera angle? Where's my camera angle? I'm like, really? Really?
They actually have a really good video. It's like a candid video of somebody on the sidelines catching all those people doing that crap. So like you see it from their angle. If you follow them, you see it from their perspective. And then there's somebody just catching all of these people just looking vain and vapid as possible, just trying to make all these poses because
and
fighting.
What even got to me was like all this crap happened. Like neighborhoods got tore up and burned. And then now it's like, yeah, who's he?
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like as soon as he outlived his usefulness here. Bye.
Yeah. No need.
You know, I mean, whether or not you backed him or not, but it's like that whole thing, like, so you cause all this trouble. It's like a 5-year-old kid wanting ice cream. You know how they'll fight then, they'll scream and screech and cause a fit. Yeah, and then the moment like something else happens, they just shut up. It's like, oh, it wasn't that life or death thing, was it? So it was just, I was kind of disgusted about it personally. I mean, just, I don't care what it was. It just disgusted me, the whole clout chasing bandwagoning crap that I had to see. And then there were different situations that happened. And I'm like, well, this situation was justified. This was not. Oh, well, no, it was just all this. And I'm like, really? Did you look at all the evidence in each situation? No, you didn't. Or they didn't want to acknowledge certain things, like with the Asian hate thing. They were like, oh, it's just white people. It's like, no, there's other people of color attacking Asian people, especially Asian women.
Yep.
That's messed up too. You guys got to own up to that. And again, I don't think it was also a thing too, where I was making a point how our society does not air grievances anymore, but they go and blame one group all the time. Like, for example, like I think Harvard, they did not allow Chinese American students in due to some qualification, which the court, I think it was like, I'm trying to remember if it was the New York Supreme Court or the Supreme Court itself determined, or one of the higher courts, it's like one of the appellate courts, I think, where they determined that, yes, they used a racist system in determining eligibility, but since it wasn't malicious, it was okay. So that's my grievance, like, okay, you know, but I'm not going around going every Ivy League school is terrible. But yeah, I got to a point where I just did Triggered because I was just laughing at how everybody was hyper overreacting about anything. And so Triggered was that. And we're also doing a dumpster fire game where you're a demon bitch, you wake up and you really need attention. So the computer game, we're doing the first level. It's going to be available for beta testing in July, hopefully. And what it is that you wake up and you need to give her attention or she'll shrivel and die. So there's varying ways that she could get attention, like hospital selfies or medical selfies. I mean, one of the guys, past Master Dan, was like, cocaine works for Crohn's. Or no, it's the worst thing, actually.
I'm sorry for a second. You just said medical or hospital selfies?
Yeah.
I know like at least 2 people that have done that.
Oh, you mean the fake ones?
They've done like the hospital or medical selfies, like, oh, I'm in the hospital, ... you know, or whatever. And it's like, it's you're like, oh gosh.
Well, the thing is that I did one when I had my tumor, but it was a joke actually, because I'm a troll to the end, I guess.
Yeah.
I just took a picture of myself, like, and I didn't even try to be sexy. I mean, like, my hair is not washed. I've got all these tubes out of me. I'm carrying around like that. Just and I swear to God, I got over 150 likes on them. Like, I am not looking good. I look like crap.
Like I'm trolling you right now.
Yeah, like I'm messing with people.
And it's working, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think I was messing around. I said, I'm a model, because one girl would say that all the time, but she would never. And I've known people that are models and actors. They work hard. You know the real ones from the ones that are kind of fake. So the point of Demon Bitch is that Demon B, she has to go and get attention to fill that hole inside of herself or else she's going to shrivel up and die. So that's the point of the video game. And also, people are welcome to email my programmer to tell her how much it sucks. I'm just joking. She's actually a good programmer, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I think Asian people, COVID was remedial. Yeah. And it's just, it was all over. It was, from what I understand, it was all over the spectrum. I never got personal crap for it. Although I did write a t-shirt like, we will rewrite your DNA just to be a jerk to people. So, but going down, yeah. So, and also there's, Hyde Hermit Studios, they designed the 2 Tamabi pins, which the glow in the dark expression, and it's like stupid, happy, and dumb mad or something. And it's just like they're glow in the dark, and she's like a Tamagotchi. And the other one, the other half, he likes tiki stuff, so he did a tiki thing, and it's like 2 hot dogs or something. And then the other one was Mary Zoralita Bellamy, and she did some fan art in that book too, because sometimes I hit up artists for some fan art. And she also did the Animu Demon, which was Demon B as Sailor Moon, but it's like a purse charm with holofoil. I don't know why I did all that pretty stuff because it's Demon B. And then she also did 3 prints, which she'll have signed. So the book, I also will sign it. And if you pledge, I send a really rude note to people too.
Yeah, they're funny.
Yeah.
So how many pages is your book?
It's about 137 plus pages of crap. So
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot of pages.
That's an impressive amount of work there. Rich,
Yeah.
how many pages is your book?
It's just a measly 68. So
Man, wow.
Well, mine were
Both
like,
you guys,
I
like,
released like that too. It was like
my
60.
book's 32, so I'm like,
Well, I guess I have like the most pages. You know,
Yeah.
it's thick. You know, my
you
books
got the
are
biggest
thick.
one on the table.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm offering it as hardcover too with a $10 upgrade.
That's what she said.
not the $10 upgrade, the biggest one on the table bit.
That's
But
awesome.
like if I kick
can't get there fast
past
enough.
like 7,500, I can print more of the hardcover too. So
Cool, nice.
that's one of the stretch goals. Hopefully, I'll be able to hit that one. And then if it's 8K, then I get to enclose free pasties with every physical reward too.
That's nice. That will actually take you out of media mail, though. By the way,
Yeah,
like so that you won't be able to ship media mail with that.
there are ways. I'm
there
not
are ways,
saying,
yeah.
but there are ways.
Yeah, stick the pasties inside of the book, I guess. But
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. So that's what I've been doing, and yeah, I mean as I said, and I'll sign the books, and I'll just write and sign all of them all messed up and stuff. I mean that's what I do anyway when people buy books from me.
Yeah. So for those of you that have been watching today, this is the reserved kind of like the throttled version of Christie. She can get your rants are like George Carlin-esque, I think, and so it's it's quite entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but I'm at 6.1, so I just want to hit that soon.
Andrew Davis here. Hey, how's it going, buddy? But so definitely check out both of these great campaigns. The comments, the links are in the description of the video, and they are also in the up in the comments several times.
Yes,
Frog G made sure to put that up there. So
Lemon
check those out. Check out those projects. Follow these creators. Get to know them a little bit. They're both very entertaining people. A lot of fun. I've seen them on multiple streams, and so it's been a pleasure to have you guys here this morning, talking aliens and supernatural stuff. Which who knew that's where the conversation would go?
Yeah,
we certainly don't know where the conversation's going when we start something like this. But we've been here now for over 2 hours, so I think it's time for us to get ready to go out and get some work done. So I'm going to make you guys big. I'm going to throw a little Miracle Grow on your screen, and I want you to tell people where they can find you and kind of any last minute things, and we're going to go around the circle.
You can find me on my link tree at Horror Studios and/or on the Kickstarter. You can link back to those. You can contact me through Kickstarter. I do have my email linked to that as on my Facebook. I'm known as Christie Shin. I think if you Google Demon B, you'll know what it is. And I mean, pretty much, I love drawing things I hate, but somehow it's therapeutic for everyone.
Very good.
Nice. I only swore once on this whole stream, so that's amazing, and I'm pretty proud of myself. So thank Luke for keeping me in check like that, because I wouldn't have done that for anybody else. He's a man of God, so you
I
gotta
appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Richard Ayala. Go check out my Roach balls. You can find me on Twitter, also Ayala Richie1, Sully Cucaracha. I do a lot of promoting there too. You could hit up my YouTube channel, also Rich Ayala's Roach balls. But most importantly, please back my comic book. It's Sully Cucaracha Needs a Home, and it has to be your home. So back my book, back Christie Shin's book. Any other dope indie artists you find, back their book if you can afford it. And even if you can't, skip a bill or two. Your kid doesn't need to have to eat. If you got more than one kid, one of them's probably a little overweight, probably go without the food. So just skip that and buy an indie book. So it doesn't have to be mine. It could be anybody else's, but please do that. Roach balls.
Roach balls, yeah, great job. Yeah, don't feed your kids. Buy our books.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a book going right now too.
store.
I have a book going right now too. We're about we've got 5 days left in the first part. We're going to go ahead and extend it, but we are, I think 78 backers, and
Nice.
we're like $169 away. I think $169 away from our next stretch goal. We're going to be adding metal trading cards, and we're going to be adding some. I'm going to add next week for my birthday, next Thursday, my birthday stream, and we're going to have Justin Belmont, and I think that we're going to have Glenn Fleming on with us that day as well. So we're going to be able to hang out and talk about a bunch of stuff, and I'll have some fresh art, original art up on the campaign.
You get your
that
metal
day.
prints through Phoenix? Yeah.
Yeah, everything's coming through Phoenix, and we're printing the books through Zach, 3D Zach. So
Nice.
looking forward to it. But yeah, so we've had a good time. Thanks for joining us today and sticking with us to the end, chat. I really appreciate that, and it helps for watch hours. Be sure to check out the Ragin' 2 network. We played a little bumper for that this morning, but be sure to check out the Ragin' 2 network, where you can get all kinds of great content. Nerd Bacon being one of those. A lot of fun stuff. And they'll get you scheduled. Also, if you're buying Gemini mailers, make sure to go check out and use the Ragin' 2 code. Get a 5% discount on that. We need people using that code so we can hopefully get you up to a 10% discount. And really cool, like we just unlocked the triple play ash can on the hybrids campaign. So you'll be getting a triple play ash can, and it's going to be in full color because if I do anything, it's all the way. That's the way I do things. So I want to thank everybody for being here today, and you can go by my website, lukestonestudios.com, sign up for a mailing list, and check some things out there, and all of my pertinent links are there. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, share it out, invite your friends to this mess that we do here called Nerd Bacon. So with that, I bid you adieu, and we'll see you.
Bye.
Comic book men. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men, and I just read an amazing comic book called Hybrids, The Sons of Gods, and it's from Arrow Comics. My man creator Luke Stone has created a pretty amazing epic comic book that basically, if you like Ancient Aliens, and Chris Claremont era X-Men, then this book is for you. Folklore, legend, and myth merge with the heart and action of a classic superhero team book. Definitely check out Hybrids, The Sons of Gods. They're from Arrow Comics. I just pulled it up here. It is on Comixology if you want to grab it right now. Check it out. It's this little button here, add to cart. I'm going to hit it right now, as should you, and I'm gonna grab it and read issue 1. But don't let me tell you what to read. But today, do let me tell you what to read. Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, is pretty amazing. Luke is that's where he wanted me to stop with this endorsement, but no, my friends, I am not. Luke's got a pretty awesome and long story. Luke has looked into the mythology, something called the Nephilim, and I believe I pronounced that right. And he's kind of crossed over with the philosophies of ancient aliens, and come up with this pretty amazing stories. Like, what if within some of us there was a recessive gene, a recessive power that came to light? Is something really just based in folklore and legend. But what if folklore and legend were actually based in reality and fact, and myths were actually based in true stories? These are the kind of things that I love reading when I read comic books. Of course, I love superheroes, and I love superpowers, and I love truth, justice, and the American way. But what I really read comic books for are great stories. And